Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax. Still a little sick, so sorry. But realizing your place in nature. This is something that I don't think people talk enough about. I remember years ago getting into a big debate with this girl in like grade 6 or 7, so we're only like maybe 12 years old, but she was absolutely convinced that humans were not animals. And she's like, we're not animals. And I was like, yes, we are. Like, humans are an animal, of course. Like, what else would we be? And she took this very like human-centric religious argument that no, we are incredibly special. We have a soul. We aren't animals. We are totally different, blah, 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 blah. And I understand that, especially like if you read the Bible, you get the sense that, yeah, humans are exceptional and different and, not like everything else. And we are imbued with so much of this stuff. And like, I will say, I am a Christian. I believe in a lot of the stuff, but I really take exception to this idea that we are exceptional, that we are anything remotely different than the animals and the plants and everything that you see behind me. I just it really annoys me when people take themselves out of the ecosystem. They take themselves out of the context in which they find themselves, because without context, we are nothing. Without a context, there is no existing. Humans are not born able to just survive in the environment, and they need an environment to begin with. So this whole idea that humans are somehow a cut above animals and plants and their ecosystems, I think that's ridiculous. And I think the more our society technologically advances, we are realizing just how a part of nature we are. And I think when you come to realize that, you have as much right to exist as everything behind me, as the birds and the bees, and I just saw a little vole jump through the grass here. But having that kind of like, I'm so special, I'm so exceptional, I think that whole idea is really toxic, and I think it corrupts people, and I think it makes them feel as though they're entitled to behave and act a certain way, even to behave very inappropriately towards other people, which is bizarre. And I think that kind of exceptionalism and that kind of like, I am the center of the universe, that kind of thinking is really toxic and awful. And 400 or 500 years ago, the church was absolutely adamant that, the earth was the center of the universe. And what a narcissistic and self-centered point of view to have, oh, we have to be the center. No, we're not. We are not the center. The universe is infinite. And to think that we were even close to the center is ridiculous. It is the most self-serving ideology that you could possibly have. And I think it leads people to arrogance and ego, and like I said, to treating other people like they're less than. And that frustrates me. That hurts me. Why you gotta do that? That hurts me. But for real, realizing that you are just an animal on this planet, and I say just with like a grain of salt, because every piece of life that exists is absolutely incredible, and the fact that it exists is astronomically improbable and just insane. But the concept that, oh, we are something more exceptional, there is nothing more exceptional than life. There is nothing more exceptional than the tree behind me, or than, the bird building its nest and getting ready for its, its clutch of eggs and its new growth, new life. And it irks me when people have this kind of exceptionalism, because it leads them to treat other people poorly. It leads them to treat the environment poorly. It leads them to treat animals poorly. And I don't understand how you could experience the most amazing life on this planet, a clear blue sky, catching some sun, maybe sitting by the beach, walking through a forest, the crisp, cool air of a winter night. How can you experience all of that and then come to the conclusion like, oh, this is all for me, like this is all for my benefit? Yes and no. Like, it doesn't give you the right to behave in such a way that you go against what nature has intended. It doesn't It doesn't justify those kinds of actions or behaviors. And I think realizing that you're just another animal on this planet, trying to get by, trying to survive, procreate, do whatever, it gives you a sense of belonging, which I think a lot of people are missing in today's world. I think a lot of people wake up every day and go, gee, I just feel like I don't fit in with my community, with the world, with what's going on. I feel so pessimistic about the outcomes of the world and everything. And I think by reconnecting with nature and just getting out into it and realizing that you are a part of it, you're a beautiful part of it, you're an important part of it, that can be a real joy and a real moment with Zen and with peace. You know, they always say that, you know, God is a gardener. And if you are a gardener, you know that you are just a small part of this infinitely long cycle of birth and death and regrowth, and you know, you're always returning to the origin. If you've watched my video on Taoism, you'll know what I'm talking about. And so I just really think that a lot of us, especially if you're young and full of the whole social media stuff, you gotta get out. You gotta just not be a part of it every now and then, and just take a moment to realize that you're just a part of this whole thing. You know, you're not the most important part, you're not the central part, but you are an integral part. And you know, you always, in nature, everything kind of fills a purpose. Everything has a niche, everything has a place in which they belong and they serve. And the more you remove yourself from the natural world, or just the way the world works, I think the more you feel out of place. And I recently took a friend who lives in the city out into the mountains, and they were absolutely just blown away by it. It was almost like a religious experience for them. And you know, they said to me at one point, like, I can't remember the last time I just walked under a tree and just enjoyed. And it kind of broke my heart a little bit, but I was like so glad that they were happy about it and they were so enthused and enjoying where they were. But I think especially if you live in a city, I mean, it's easy for me on a farm to talk about like, oh, just connect with nature, just like walk outside. But a lot of people walk outside their door and are met with a cityscape, you know, an environment fully designed for humans and fully manufactured for humans. And it's unfortunate because it really disconnects you with nature. It makes you feel like maybe you're better than nature or that you can control nature. It distances you from all of your beautiful relatives, like the birds and the trees and all of these things. Like, we're related to all of this stuff. You know, we have a family tree that goes back like 4.5 billion years, and it's all connected as far as we know. So feeling disconnected from that is like feeling disconnected from where you've come from and your origins. And I think that is very damaging to your self-image and to who you are as a person. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. I'd like to know yours, definitely. And if you can, just get out. Enjoy the breeze, enjoy the trees, and the birds and the bees. And yeah, just realize that you are an animal in this ecosystem, existing, just like every other thing has a right to exist. And try to do as little harm as possible. You know, you can't do zero, but you can do as little as possible, and you can help and encourage everything else. So that is my 2 cents. I hope you have a beautiful day, and as always, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.